Sri Sai Ram. We are discussing about probability. We began with conditional probability, and in the previous section we have discussed about multiplication theorem and independent events. Now we are going to discuss something very significant, very important in probability called Bayes theorem. Now the question is why it is such an important topic. In order to understand, take a simple example. Suppose you have got two bags very similar to each of them, and in each of the bags you have got some red balls and let us say some green balls. In both of them, let us say for our understanding sake, the first one has got 3 red balls and 2 green balls. Let us say in the second one just the opposite, 2 red balls and 3 green balls. If somebody asks you what is the probability of choosing a bag, there are only 2 bags. So the probability of choosing a bag is something like tossing a coin. What is the probability of getting a head? 1/2. Similarly, out of 2 bags, choosing any of the bag is 1/2. That is as simple as that. Now in the first bag we have got, as I mentioned, 3 red balls and 2 green balls. If somebody asks you what is the probability of drawing a ball which is red, so what you will say, since there are 3 plus 2, 5 balls, any of the red balls can be picked up. Since there are 3 red balls, it is 3C1 by 5C1, or in other words simply 3/5. If I ask you what is the probability of picking up a red ball from the second bag, since the second bag has got only 2 red balls and 3 green balls, you will say it is 2/5. It is as simple as that. Now just imagine these 2 bags are kept in a room and you went out for some work. In the meantime, some small child entered the room, and you know children, when they enter a room they just go around, they try to find out what is where, and let us say he found 2 bags with balls. So he picked up 1 ball, and by the time you came, he is coming out of the room with that particular ball. And if somebody asks you, let us say it is a red ball, somebody asks you what is the probability that it is from a particular bag, how will you find out? Initially we learnt when there are 2 bags, in the first bag there were 3 red and 2 green, and in the second one there were 2 red and 3 green. It is so very easy to know once we know the bag, the probability of drawing a red ball or drawing a green ball. But suppose the ball is known, now you have to find out from which bag it is being drawn. You are seeing a red ball, now you have to find out from which bag it is being drawn. Though you may say it is very simple, just go and check where it is 1 less and you can find out. But suppose for some reason the bags are missing and you have to find out from which bag it is drawn. This is called reverse probability. In the normal probability, first we choose a bag and then we choose a ball and we find the probability. Now what we are doing, we are choosing a ball first and trying to find out from which bag it is being drawn. This is called process of reverse probability. So for that reason, this Bayes theorem becomes very significant, because this great mathematician found out how we can locate or what are the probabilities that it is drawn from first bag or it is drawn from the second bag. He has given with the help of a formula. So that is what we are going to discuss today. He says, consider there are 2 bags 1 and 2. Bag 1 contains 2 white and 3 red balls. Bag 2 contains 4 white and 5 red balls. He changed the number, doesn't matter. Okay, 1 ball is drawn at random from one of the bags. 1 ball is drawn at random. Okay, we can find probability of selecting any of the bags. There are only 2 bags, so probability is 1/2, 1/2. Or the probability of drawing a ball from a particular color, say white, from a particular bag, say 1. Now first bag contains 2 white and 3 red. Total balls are 5. Probability of drawing a white ball 2 by 5. In other words, we can find the probability that the ball drawn is of a particular color if we are given the bag from which the ball is drawn. So, this is a normal situation. Now, move on. He says, but we can find the probability that the ball drawn is from a particular bag, say bag 2, if the color of the ball is drawn, is given. Can you find out what is the probability that it is drawn from the second? Here we have to find the reverse probability of bag 2 to be selected when an event occurred after it is known. First we have drawn the white ball. Now we are trying to find out what is the probability that it is drawn from the second bag. So this is the reverse process. John Bayes solved the problem of finding reverse probability by using conditional probability. What is conditional probability? We already discussed previous session. What is conditional probability? Probability of an event when it is given that another event has already taken place. That is called conditional probability. Okay. So, with the help of that formula he has simplified. The formula developed by him is known as Bayes' theorem, which was published in 1763. Now, before we go to Bayes' theorem or the formula, we have to understand certain things. What are those things we need to understand? First thing we have to understand is partition of sample space. What is partition of sample space? Now let us say you got numbers 1 to 10, or why to go to that extent? Let us say you roll a die. When you roll a die, what are the outcomes? Numbers from 1 to 6. That constitutes the sample space. So sample space has got numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because when you roll a die, one of the number is going to come. Okay. Now, these numbers can be separated in 2 or 3 or 5 or 6 groups, whichever way you want. One simple way of doing is take all even numbers together, odd numbers together. So 1, 3, 5 will come in one group, 2, 4, 6 will come in one group. This is called partition. What is the speciality of this partition? There is nothing common in them. Means what? If you consider 1, 3, 5 as one set, 2, 4, 6 as another set, their intersection is a null set. There is no element common between them. That is point number 1. Second, if you club them together, it makes the sample space. The union is equal to sample space. 1, 3, 5, 2, 4, 6, put together 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Third, each of them have a probability which is not 0. For example, what is the probability of odd numbers? 1 by 2. What is the probability of even numbers? 1 by 2. It is not equal to 0. This is one way of dividing a sample space. Now somebody says, no, I don't want to divide this way. I will take 1, 2 as one group, 3, 4 as another group, 5, 6 as another group. Yes, you can do that. That is also a partition. Instead of 2, you have divided into 3. Somebody says, no, I want to have each partition with one number only, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But again, in all these situations, what do we find? We find that there is no common element in these independent sets or in subsets. That is point number 1. If you club all of them, the union is nothing but sample space. Third, each of them have a probability which is not 0. These 3 conditions, if they are satisfied, then we can understand what is theorem of total probability. That is what he explains here. What is this he says a set of events E1, E2, E3 up to En is said to be representing a partition of the sample space S. Remember, S is nothing but sample space. For example, when you roll a die, sample space consists of 1 to 6 numbers. That is all. S is that. What are these E1, E2, E3, En? These are all partitions. The partitions can be 2, partitions can be 3, partition can be 4, partition can be anything. So these are all partitions. And now see each of the condition he explains. What was the first condition? We said nothing is common between them. That's why he says Ei intersection Ej equal to 5. This I and j can be replaced by any number. first one, third one, second one, sixth one, third one, fifth one, anything you can put, the intersection is a null set. Second condition, what we said, exhaustive, means if you club all of them, it is equal to union. So their union is equal to sample space again. Third, all of them have a probability greater than 0. So these are the three conditions. Now the same thing he puts it in words. What does he say? In other words, the event E1, E2, E3 up to En represent a partition of sample space S if they are pairwise disjoint. Pairwise disjoint means what? Their intersection is a null set. Second point, exhaustive. What do you mean by exhaustive? If you take union of them, it is equal to sample space. Third, non-zero probabilities. Three conditions. Let E1, E2, E3 up to En be a partition of the sample space S, and suppose that each of the events has non-zero probability of occurrence. Let A be any event associated with S, then PA. What is this PA? In order to understand, take an example. Let's just go back to the simple example. You roll a die. When you roll a die, the outcomes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have made a partition of odd numbers and even numbers. That is fine. So E1 is 1, 3, 5, E2 is 2, 4, 6. Only two partitions we have made, and they fulfill all the three conditions. That is, their intersection is null set, their union is sample space, and both of them have got probabilities 1 by 2, which is not 0. What is this E? Now from that, you can define one more event, just like conditional probability. What was conditional probability? Suppose, for example, from a pack of cards, you have drawn a spade card. Okay, then second event is you have drawn an ace card. So he asks, what is the probability of drawing an ace card when spade card was already drawn? Because one of the ace card is from spade card. So that is called conditional probability. So same thing he applies here. So this new event, in order to understand in a very simple way, just define any event. We said the first partition is of odd numbers. Second partition is of even numbers. That is fine. Let it be so. Now think about some other event. For example, let us say I will define A as prime number. A is a prime number. So when I say A is a prime number, it can be odd, it can be even. But prime number I am talking after dividing the space into two partitions. So with respect to odd numbers, I have to find out its probability. With respect to even numbers also, I have to find out its probability. For example, when I say 1, 3, 5, in that 3 and 5 both are prime numbers. When I say 2, 4, 6, 2 is a prime number. So prime number is present there, prime number is present here. So if I want to know what is the probability of a prime number, then if I call it A, that is A. So that A is with respect to even, that A with respect to E2, club both of them, that is called total probability of A. So that's what he explains. He has taken many because partitions can be many. It need not be just two. But in practical life, we will not have so many partitions, maybe 2, maybe 3, maximum 4, not more than that. So P even into P A by even, P E2 into P A by E2, etc. So this is the formula of, and this is called theorem of total probability of a new event A. After partition, we are talking about a new event A when other things have already taken place. So PA is equal to P even into P A by even, P E2 into P A by E2, P En into P A by En. When so many things are there, mathematically what we say? Summation. Summation of any one of them, you can take this, J can take values from 1 to N. J can take value from 1 to N, P E J, P A by E J. This is the formula. Without this, we will not be able to understand Bayes' theorem. Okay? Now, once again, given that, now he is explaining the proof, very simple proof, there is nothing in this. Once again, he will repeat all the conditions, etc. So, initially all that is there, that is even into all these are partitions, and then he will say their sum is a sample, their sum is S, that is all that which is possible, then intersection is a null set, etc. Then, now we know that for any event A, any event, we are talking about A now. A is a new event when E1, E2, etc. have taken place. So, A is equal to, A can be written as A intersection S. What does it mean? Suppose you have a set A. Set A always can be compared with universal set. So, this S is a universal set. From universal set, if you remove A, what you get? You get its complement. Or if you take intersection of A with universal set. To understand in more easier way, we have defined A as prime numbers. So, what are the prime numbers basically? 2, 3, 5. Remember, these 2, 3, 5 are from S only. They are not from outside. So, if you take intersection of 2, 3, 5 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, what you will get? You will get 2, 3, 5 only, because 2, 3, 5 is a set which is subset of S. So, any set can be expressed as the set intersection with universal set. So, the set is A. A can always be written as A intersection S, because when we take intersection, you are going to get that only. I hope you understood. Let me repeat the example once again. There are two partitions, E1 and D2. The first partition E1 consists of odd numbers 1, 3, 5. Second partition consists of even numbers 2, 4, 6. Partition is being done. They follow all the three rules, that is their intersection is a null set, their union is sample space, and both have got probabilities greater than 0. All that is fine. Now we are defining a new event. This new event is from sample space only. What is the sample space? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What is the new event? Prime number. So, if you take intersection of these prime numbers with sample space, you are going to get prime numbers only. That is what he is trying to tell. So, if you take intersection, intersection means common. So, common between prime numbers and sample space is prime numbers only. So, A can be written as A intersection S. This S is being partitioned into E1, E2, E3. So, we have replaced it by E1 plus E2 plus E3 up to En. Now, if you take, here we are applying distributive law. What is the distributive law? The distributive law is A union B intersection C. This is called union over intersection. Union over intersection, how it is? It is A union B intersection A union C. Similarly, you can also write A intersection B union C. So, what is this equal to? It is A intersection B union A intersection C. Both are called distributive laws, and we are applying this particular distributive law, that is intersection over union. Intersection over union. So, how do you apply? A intersection B union A intersection C union, because there are so many, so many are there. Okay. Proceed in the same description. So, A intersection EI, A intersection EJ are respectively the subsets of EI. Now, the same kind of situation. A is from S, and this A we are applying on even. So, when you apply A on even, what is that you are going to get? You are going to get A only. So, he says A intersection EI, A intersection Ej. This Ij are nothing but 1, 2, 3, right? Are respectively the subsets of E1 and E2, etc. We know that Ei and Ej are disjoint. Why they are disjoint? Because they are partitions. One is of odd number, another is of even numbers. So they are disjoint. Disjoint means what? Their intersection is a null set. Disjoint, therefore A intersection Ei will be different, A intersection Ej will be different, means they also will be disjoint. Okay? So PA, what is PA? Probability of that new event A. In our discussion, probability of the prime number is equal to PA intersection E1 union A intersection E2 union all that. Now just go back to conditional probability and you will know how it is coming to our rescue. We have studied that PE by F. What do you mean by PE by F? Probability of event E when F has already taken place. Okay? So what was the formula? The formula was equal to PE intersection F by PF. This was the formula. The same formula can be rewritten by taking this to this side so that you will get that. So what you will get? You can say PE intersection F is equal to PE by F into PF. Into PF. This is how he is using it. Now, how did he write A intersection E1? He writes A intersection E1 as PA by E1. Instead of 1, he is using S, doesn't matter. So, PA by E1 into PE1, the same method. Okay? So, this conditional probability is being used. Okay? And by adding all of them, we get the formula. Okay? Yes, we will move on. Now we come to the actual Bayes theorem, which is in the form of a formula and is very similar to what we discussed. So what does it say? If even it, once again he will repeat the same conditions. If E1, E2, E3, etc. are non-empty events which constitute a partition of the sample space S, that is E1, E2, E3, En are pairwise disjoint. Disjoint, how will you know? Their intersection is a null set and their union is equal to S. If A is any event of non-zero probability, then he says the problem. Now, earlier we discussed about PA. What was PA? It was theorem, we called it theorem of total probability. Means we found out the probability of A with respect to E1, with respect to E2, with respect to other partitions and then added. So we got probability of A. Okay. Now he talks about reverse probability. You have found out what is the probability of A. Okay, that is fine. Now he is saying, just go back to the example of balls. You have picked up, you have found a red ball. We want to find out what is the probability that it is from either first bag or from the second bag. So that's why it is EI by A. Generally it is A by EI. A by EI means you first picked up a bag, then you picked up a ball of your choice. That is very simple. But now it is PEI by A. Means first you picked up a ball, then you are identifying with bag. Is given by this formula. Now what is this formula? Let us understand. Denominator is nothing but A, what we have discussed. Denominator is A. What was A? It is summation of PEI into EI by A by EI. Okay? A by EI. Thus, in this only, if you have to find out from first bag, the first part will come up. If it is from second bag, second part will come up. If it is from third bag, the third bag will come out. Means what? Here, if it is from the first bag, if he says find the probability that it is from the first bag, we will use E1. If he says find the probability that it is from the second bag, in numerator we will use E2. That is all. And the derivation is again very simple, just few steps, we will quickly go through that. We know this is the formula. How do you know this is the formula? Because we have studied that P E by F is equal to P E intersection F divided by PF. This is the conditional probability formula we have learned, we have used in solving problems. So, in this, if you bring this to this side, you get P E intersection F. Okay. This particular thing is that we will substitute. Clear? P E by EI by A. P EI by A is P, this is the formula. E by F means E intersection F by PF. Similarly, EI by A means PA intersection EI by PA. So, this step is from conditional probability. There we were finding out probability of E when F has taken place. Now, when we say EI by A, we are finding the probability of EI when A has taken place. So, first take the intersection and then divide by PA. This PA which is in denominator is nothing but the formula which you have derived. So, write that formula here, that is all. Now, we will solve problems and you will find them very interesting. Very interesting problems you will come across in this particular chapter. Okay? So, let us begin. First problem. An urn contains 5 red and 5 black balls. Okay? There are 5 red and 5 black balls. Total number of balls are 10. Okay? Now read the question. A ball is drawn at random. Some ball is drawn. You simply picked up a ball. Okay? Its color is noted. So, when you draw a ball, it can be red, it can be black, it can be any of them, isn't it? So, you made note of the ball and then what did you do? Whichever color it is, same color 2 more balls you have added in that bowl. An urn contains 5 red and 5 black balls. A ball is drawn at random, its color is noted and is returned to the urn. You have kept it back. Not only you kept it back, moreover, 2 additional balls of the color drawn are put in the urn. Suppose the ball was red, you kept back whatever you picked up. So, the number remains same 5 red and 5 black, but you also added 2 more red balls. Suppose the ball was black, you kept back the black ball, you added 2 more black balls. Okay. Then what he says? Color drawn are put in the urn and then a ball is drawn at random. Second time you are drawing a ball and then he says what is the probability that the second ball is red? Isn't it interesting? So, how do you solve it? How many balls we have drawn? We have drawn 2 balls. First time when you have drawn, it can means we can say it is red or it is black. Okay. Now, for example, first time when you have drawn a ball, let us say what is the probability that first time you have drawn a red ball? First time probability of red ball, tell me. The probability is there are total 10 balls. The probability of drawing red ball is 5 by 10. It can be any one of the 5 by total number 10. So, it is 5 by 10 which is 1 by 2 and it is the same because number of balls are same, we can say it is also the probability of drawing a black ball. Because there are 5 black balls. Okay. So, probability of drawing a black ball is 5 by 10, 1 by 2. So, it is same for both. Now, when you have drawn a red ball, 2 red balls are added. And in this case what you did? 2 black balls are added. Now he asks, second time you have drawn a ball. It is more or less like two bags. One bag has got some number of balls, another bag has got some number of balls. What is the probability of drawing a ball, choosing a bag? 1 by 2, 1 by 2. Similarly, here also it has come 1 by 2, 1 by 2. You kept back the ball. You added 2 more balls into it. And now you have drawn a ball. This is A. Now we are talking about A. This is like E1 and E2. E1 and E2, red ball and black ball, partition. Okay. Now you are drawing a second ball. He says, what is the probability that it is red? Tell me, what is the probability that it is red in this case? Probability of drawing a red ball second time. What it is going to be? How many balls are there now? How many red balls are there? 7 red balls are there. How many total balls are there? 12 balls are there. So what is the probability? The probability is 7 by 12. In second situation means in which the first drawn ball was black. You added 2 black balls. Now we have drawn a ball and that is red. So what is the probability of drawing red ball in this situation? Number of red balls are 5 only, but total number of balls are 12. Club both of them, you will get the total probability. So what will be PA? PA is equal to, let us say this first event we are calling it E1, this we are calling it E2. So how do you write it? It is P A by E1 into P E1 plus P A by E2 into P E2. What do you mean by P A by E1? Red ball, second ball is red when first ball is also red, that we calculated 7 by 12. What is P even? First time it was red ball. First time it was red ball, 1 by 2 plus P A by E2. Second was red ball when the first was black ball, that is 5 by 12 into probability of drawing a black ball, the first black ball, 1 by 2. Simplify. Take 1 by 2 common. It will become 7 by 12 plus 5 by 12 into 1 by 2. This is nothing but 1. 7 plus 5, 12 by 12. So the answer is 1 by 2. So this problem was based upon total probability. Let us move to the next problem, which is more interesting. Of the students in a college, it is known that 60% reside in the hostel, 40% are day scholars. See the partition straight, 60% in the hostel, 40% in the 40% are day scholars. So you can say one is E1, another is E2. So tell me what is P E1? 60%, 60 by 100, or in other words you can say 3 by 5. Remember, this is representing hostlers. PE2, what is PE2? Day scholars. What is the number? 40%. You can say 2 by 5. Total is 100, partitions are 60% and 40%. Now read the question further. Previous year results report that 30% of all students who reside in the hostel attain A grade. 30% of hostlers are able to get A grade. Okay. 20% of day scholars are able to attain A grade. What is this A grade? This is that A which we are talking about. If this is E1 and E2, A is getting A grade. A becomes the third event or on top of even and D2. So he is asking, he is saying 30% of the student reside in the hostel attain A grade. So if we say PA stands for probability of getting A grade, we want to find out PA. But what is that he has given? 30% of the hostlers are able to get A grade. Means what he has given? He has given P A by even. So what is P A by even? What is P A by even? Very simple. What is P A by even? 30%. So it is 30 by 100, or you can say 3 by 10. Similarly, what is P A by E2? What do you mean by P A by E2? Day scholars who are getting A grade. So what is the percentage? 20%. This is 20 by 100, or let us say 2 by 10. Okay. Now what he is asking? At the end of the year, one student is chosen at random from the college. They choose one student, okay? And he has A grade. The boy who is chosen is a A grade, okay? What is the probability that the student is a hostler? See the reverse. Once you know these are the hostlers, once you know this many are the A graders, so it is very simple, A by even, very simple. But now he says a boy is being chosen at the end of the year and it is found that he is a grader. He is asking what is the probability that he is from the hostel. What were the even? Hostlers. What was A grader. What is he asking? He is asking us P even by A. This is called reverse probability. What is the formula? Very simple formula which we have derived. The formula is P even, sorry, P A by even into P even divided by P A by even into P even plus P A by E2 into P E2. Denominator is nothing but A, theorem of total probability. Numerator is that particular part. Why we are taking even? Because he is saying find out that he is an hostler. If he says find out that he is a day scholar, instead of even we will use E2. Now substitute the values because you know the values. P A by even. How much is P A by even? 3 by 10. So 3 by 10 into P even. P even is 3 by 5 divided by same thing 3 by 10 into 3 by 5 plus P A by E2 2 by 5 into P E2. P E2 is 2 by 5 and P A by E2 is 2 by 10. Simplify. 10 into 5, 50, you cancel it off straight. What is left? 3 3s are 9 by 3 3s are 9 plus 4, 13. This is the probability that the A grader is a hostler. Okay? We will move to the next problem. This is a very, very interesting problem. And remember, it requires some effort to understand the problem in first place. Without understanding, you will not be able to do it. Very, very interesting problem. Quite a big paragraph. First you have to read and understand. What he says, A laboratory blood test is 99% effective in detecting a certain disease. Now for example, most of the people are having this corona problem. They go for testing, and what he says, a laboratory blood test is 99% effective, okay, in detecting a certain disease, let us say corona, okay, when it is in fact present. When it is present, it gives the positive result that yes, it is there. What percent? 99%, not 100%, okay. However, the test also yields a false positive result for 0.5% of healthy person. A person is healthy, but there is a small percentage that it gives the positive result even for him, okay. Healthy person tested, if, okay, 0.5% means what? 0.5 by 100, 0.5 by 100 is nothing but 0.005. So this is for the healthy person and this is for the person with disease. There are two, correct? The test will imply he has the disease. Now, if 0.1% of population actually has the disease, what is the probability that the person has the disease given that his test result is positive? So we need to understand the question. First thing is, the results are positive. Results are positive for people who are unhealthy or who are having disease. Results are positive for healthy people. So these are two things. Then what is A here? What he is saying? That test results are positive. Or in other words, he puts it saying that there are 0.1% of the population actually has the disease. So why not we divide, we make a partition. What partition we will make? 0.1% of people actually has the disease. If 0.1% of the population actually has the disease, so let us say P even stands for probability of people with disease. And how much is it? 0.1%, or in other words 1 by 1000. 1 out of 1000 is only having a disease. Rest all people are healthy. So the partition is PE2. What is PE2? Probability of people who are healthy. What is it? If 1 by 1000 is people with disease, how many are healthy? It is 999 by 1000. Okay. Instead of coming from up to down, we are going from down to up. This is how probability problems have to be tackled. The partition part you get to know only through the last one. So, okay. So 0.1% of the population actually has the disease. That's what we wrote. People with disease are 1 out of 1000. If 1 out of 1000 is with the disease, 999 people are without the disease, are the healthy people. Now move little up. Both are tested. Healthy people are also tested. Unhealthy people are people with disease, both are tested. And the positive results are, a laboratory blood test is 99% effective in detecting a certain disease when it is in fact present. What is A here? Results are positive. PA here stands for probability that results are positive. If results are positive, for how many people it is positive? Those who are healthy. For how many people it is positive who are having the disease? That you can write. For example, what will be PA by even? What this stands for? Results are positive for even. Even means people with disease. Results are positive for people with disease. How many? A blood test is showing 99% effective in detecting a certain disease when it is in fact present. So, how much is it? 99%, or other terms 99 by 100. Similarly, what is PA by E2? PA by E2 means what? What is A? Results are positive. E2 means what? Healthy people. Healthy people also got tested. For them also it is coming positive. How much is it? 0.005 or 0.5%, or in the other words we can say 5 by 1000. 0.5% means 0.5 by 100. When you remove decimal, it is 5 by 1000. If you want, you can write it as 1 by 200. Now come to what he is asking. What he is asking? Read the last sentence. If 0.1% of the population actually has the disease, what is the probability that a person has a disease given that his test result is positive? What is that we want to find out? We want to find out P even by A. We want to find out P even by A. Again same formula which we applied, PA by even into P even divided by PA by even into same P even plus PA by E2 into P E2. Simplify and substitute. PA by even 99 by 100 into P even. P even is 1 by 1000 divided by same thing will come here 99 by 100 plus 1 by 1000 plus, come to the second part, A by E2 1 by 200 into PE2. PE2 we have found out 999 by 1000. We have to simplify. How do you simplify? 3 plus 2, 5 zeros cancel. This is, all this has gone. So, what is left? In numerator we are left with 99 and denominator you are left with 99 plus 999 by 2. So, take LCM, it will become 198 plus 999 and 2 will be there, take it up. So, it is 198 divided by sum of these two, 8 plus 9 17, 10 plus 9 19, 10 plus 1 11. This is the answer. Okay. We will come to the last problem which we are going to discuss today. An insurance company insured 2000 scooter drivers, 4000 car drivers, 6000 truck drivers. Scooter drivers, car drivers and truck drivers. This itself is partition, E1, E2, E3. Okay, you can write it off in fact. P even, what even stands for? Probability of scooter drivers. What is the probability? How many scooter drivers? 2000. How many car drivers? 4000. How many truck drivers? 6000. Add all of them. The total is 12,000. So, it is 2000 by 12,000. In other words, 1 by 6. Similarly, take the second one, PE2. What is PE2? Probability of car drivers. This is 4000 by 12,000 is equal to 4 by 12 or 1 by 3. Then PE3. What is PE3? Probability of truck drivers. What is it? 6,000 divide 12,000 equal to 1 by 2. Okay. An insurance company insured 2,000 scooter drivers, 4,000 car drivers, 6,000 truck drivers. The probability of an accidents are 0.01, 0.03, 0.15 respectively. What is A? A is, what is A? A is that they meet with accident. PA stands for, what is the he says they meet with an accident. Probability of accident. This is what we have to find out. This is what we have to find out when he says find the probability that one of the insured person meets with an accident. What is the probability that he is a scooter driver? So what is that we want to find out? Scooter drivers, we have called it even. So what is that we want to find out? We want to find out P even by A. So how do you find P even by A? Same formula, that is P A by even into P even divided by P A by even into P even plus P A by E2 into P E2 plus P A by E3 into P E3, because in this case the partition in 3 parts. Any person can meet with an accident. It can be a scooter driver, it can be a truck driver, it can be a car driver. Okay. So we are finding out P even by A. Substitute P A by even. He says what he has given also you write it down. This 0.01 is P A by even. 0.01. Similarly, P A by E2. What is P A by E2? A car driver's probability of meeting with an accident, 0.03. Similarly, P A by E3. A truck driver's possibility of meeting with an accident, 0.15. Substitute these values. P A by even 0.01 into P even 1 by 6. Either you can write 1 by 6 or change into decimal, both are fine, divided by 0.01 into 1 by 6 plus P A by E2. P A by E2 is 0.03 into P E2. What is P E2? 1 by 3 plus third one P A by E3 0.15, and what is P E3? 1 by 2. This is what we have to simplify. How do you simplify them? Very simple, by 100, by 100, by 100 and then by 100. Cancel off this 100 because it is there for all. What you are left with? You are left with in numerator 1 by 6 by 1 by 6. Remember this decimal is gone, so 3 and 3 cancel, so it is 1 plus this is 15 by 2, 0.15. We have cancelled 100, so we are left with 15 by 2 simplify. Take LCM in denominator 6. So, you get 1 plus 6 plus 45. One by 6 upon, we are taking 6 as LCM. So, 1 plus 6 plus 45. 6 and 6 gets cancelled. 45 plus 6, 51 plus 1, 52. So, the answer is 1 by 52. This is the answer. So, if any one of them meets with an accident, what is the probability that he is a scooter driver? The probability is 1 by 52. We will solve some more problems of varieties. No two problems you will find similar in this particular exercise. You will come across various situations. So, we will do that in the next session, and then we will also study about random variable in the next session. So, till then, please solve the problems which I have not attempted. I generally solve alternate problems. So, the remaining problems you do it as a homework. Please try understanding what is Bayes' theorem. Also understand the formula. Before understanding that, go back and learn what is theorem of total probability. Before that, you learn what is partition of a sample space. So, with this we come to a close. Thank you. Sai Ram.